Coming to the introduction, the first module, what do you understand by a project? Its key characteristics, what is the difference between a project and an operations from an industry parlance, what are the terminologies and understanding about what is a program, what is a program management, what are the various kinds of portfolio management, and so on. We'll also be covering through this session today a good deep insight and understanding about a project management office, which is also termed as a PMO in the industry. And then taking care of the elements and the process of a project life cycle versus what happens in a product life cycle and so on. Okay. While I assume most of you are experienced professionals in the industry, and since you are intended to go for the certification, the basic and foremost understanding about what a project is. Project, as a terminology, it is a temporary endeavor which undertakes to create a unique product, service, or a value proposition. So the basic, most important guiding factor of what a project ensures that it has a definite start and an end point. It cannot be indefinitely with no end date. That is not a project. The most important facets of a project include it is temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product value. Maybe in the industry experience it would call an end objective. So important elements we as need to ensure as a project management professional would be to ensure its temporary nature, its uniqueness to derive or outcome based with a unique service, result or a value proposition. It has a definite start and an end date. And during the course of a project, it progressively elaborates, which means on a milestone basis, a project goes through different phases in its life cycle. You plan, you think, you devise, you discuss with your team, you discuss with your stakeholders, and accordingly, as you achieve the planned milestones, you accordingly, progressively go ahead with the project towards its end state. It has a definite and a specific time frame, cost attached, and a outcome of performance requirement. This is one of the most important fundamental definition of what a project is. So let's take a few examples to understand what you understand by a project for a layman's language. Example, what we have seen in this particular slide would be as a project is given to construct a multi-story tower. So assume you are a certified project manager and your boss comes in and tell you that the company with which you are working has been assigned or given a contract to complete the construction of a multi-story tower in a particular city. So as a project manager, you have been informed a unique project objective, which is construction. Taking up a new example in a similar platform would be setting up of a new branch of a bank. So you are a finance manager of a bank, let's say in Singapore, and as a finance manager, the project handed over to you is setting up a new branch in Singapore. So your specific project outcome would be the branch which gets set up. And you have to ensure that in order to set up a branch in Singapore for your bank, what all needs to go in, what are the inputs, what are the ingredients, and once a branch is set up, your project, which has a definite end time, ceases to exist, and you are able to ascertain that you have accomplished your project object. Okay, let's further delve into to have a better understanding of what a project is. Project end state is reached when the objectives have been achieved. project is terminated because the objectives are not achieved or could not be achieved due to uncontrolled circumstances, or where your prospective client for which you have started this project wishes to cancel its project. Also, there are certain situations that the organization and the management has started a project, and in between, due to valid reasons, because of the decision by the stakeholders, because of the feasibility of the projects to continue in its original fashion, the need for the project no longer exists. Yes, I definitely agree to the fact that it can have negative consequences to have a project to get stalled in between, because it will have a lot of wastage of time, energy, management, and resources. Let's also understand the important item of project characteristic is that a project can create what kind of outcomes. It could be a product, it could be a service, a capability to perform a service, it could be an improvement in existing product or a service line, or it could be simply a result. To explain all these factors in detail for your better understanding, so let's take an example. A project could create a product. A product in this case, as an example, if you are working with a pharmaceutical industry, and as a project manager, you ensure to release a particular medicine or a tablet. So as a project manager in a pharmaceutical company, once that particular medicine is created in the form of finished goods, that is called a final product or an outcome of a project. What we understand with a service or a capability to perform a service, if you're taking an example, you undertake a project to train a particular staff in a banking company. Once a training is started and it is successfully completed, you get a feedback from the delegates or the audience that a particular training has been successfully completed. So you have delivered your project successfully and created a capability in form of trained people for that particular session is meeting those project requirements.
We thank you for your valuable time. Please feel free to contact